Okay, so let's unpack this. You brought us some fascinating sources, all like buzzing about that huge One Piece moment fans have waited years for, finally seeing the God Valley incident.
Absolutely. Yeah, this deep dive is all about episode 1130, A History Erased, God Valley of Despair. And the sources, they confirm it just premiered May 25th, 2025. Clearly captivated everyone. It was trending like crazy.
Right. So our mission here today is to really dig into these sources, pull out the key stuff, the massive anticipation, what actually got revealed about this huge
Key
event.
characters involved, yeah.
Exactly, the characters, and just why it's so important for the whole One Piece story.
Yeah.
Because this is it, isn't it? The first time we've actually seen this legendary battle visually.
Yeah.
The one from, what, 38 years ago in the timeline?
That's the one. For so long, God Valley was just this name, this reference, almost mythical. So it's really interesting seeing how these sources break down what it was like to finally have it shown on screen.
Okay, so starting off, these sources really capture that sheer level of excitement, the anticipation around this episode.
Oh, definitely. The release itself was huge news. Sunday, May 25th, 11:15 p.m. Japan time. And then boom, straight onto Crunchyroll internationally.
And that buildup, like these sources describe, it was so intense because God Valley kept getting mentioned,
Yeah.
as this super significant world-changing event.
Right. Fans knew it was foundational. They knew it was coming eventually. But these sources make it clear the hype for this specific episode, the one that would finally show it, it just hit a fever pitch.
And it sounds like, based on these sources, the episode really delivered on showing the God Valley incident itself.
It did. It portrayed this massive, chaotic battle. You had the Rocks Pirates on one
The
side.
super crew?
Yeah, the infamous Rocks Pirates, and on the other, this really unlikely team-up, the Roger Pirates and the Marines. Specifically, Monkey D. Garp leading the Marine side.
And what's critical, what these sources really zero in on, is the why. Why did this fight happen?
Exactly. It wasn't random. The trigger, according to the episode and highlighted here, was this absolutely disgusting native hunting competition that the Celestial Dragons organized.
Ugh.
Yeah. And the sources say the episode showed the chaos, the bloodshed. It really didn't shy away from the brutality that the Celestial Dragons kicked off.
Wow, a native hunting competition. Just hearing that phrase, which the sources pull out, it really drives home how awful they are.
Totally. And amidst all that horror, instigated by the world nobles, these sources also shine a light on some specific acts of, well, heroism, I guess.
Ah, right. You mean Kuma and Ivankov.
Exactly. Bartholomew Kuma and Emporio Ivankov. They were caught up in the chaos, and the sources say their main goal was, survival, but also grabbing this chance to free themselves and other slaves during all the fighting.
And the sources got specific about Kuma, didn't they? Which is really interesting.
Super interesting. They note he got his hands on the Nikunomi, the pawpaw fruit, right then and there.
Which becomes so central to him later, yeah.
Absolutely. And it mentions he used it, or at least managed during the chaos, to rescue over 500 slaves. It's this picture of, finding freedom and showing incredible courage in just the worst possible situation.
But Kuma and Ivankov weren't the only big names there that the sources flagged. This episode also gave us our first proper look at some absolute legends, but way younger.
Yes. That was huge. Seeing younger Goldie Roger, Whitebeard Edward Newgate, Big Mom, Kaido, even Shiki. That was a massive talking point in all these sources.
And it wasn't just, oh, cool, they look young. It sounds like it gave actual insight.
Yeah, into their earlier selves, maybe their dynamics when they were part of Rock's crew or just rivals back then.
Right.
And a cool detail these sources picked up. This was Shiki's first time actually being voiced in the main anime series.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they got Naoto Takanaka, who voiced him in the Strong World movie, to reprise the role. Nice touch.
That is a nice touch. Okay, so when a moment this huge drops, the internet reaction, what did the sources say about the social media side of things?
Oh, it just exploded, predictably. Looking through these sources, TikTok was apparently filled with people just in awe. Awe at the animation, seeing the younger characters. Instagram, same deal. Tons of reels, posts. Some fans, according to these sources, were even calling for a whole movie just about God Valley.
The whole movie? Wow. And what about places like Reddit, where the discussions get a bit deeper?
Yeah, Reddit threads were apparently on fire, just buzzing with analysis, people sharing theories, debating things.
Debating what specifically?
Well, the sources point to a lot of discussion around the Celestial Dragons' actions, obviously, just how vile they were, but also the moral gray areas, like Garp having to team up with Roger.
Ah, the complexities.
Exactly. The sources indicate that these aspects, the moral choices, characters like Garp and Roger had to make in that situation really sparked a lot of thoughtful conversation and debate. It wasn't just hype. People were engaging with the heavy themes.
So, okay, let's pull this all together. These sources, they really framed the God Valley incident as like a cornerstone event in One Piece history, and this episode cemented that.
Absolutely. It marked the end of the Rocks Pirates, this massive threat, and it was key to Garp becoming the hero of the Marines.
Right. And the episode, as these sources describe it, it filled in huge historical gaps fans have been wondering about forever.
It gives so much context for why the world is the way it is now in One Piece. Helps you understand character motivations way better.
And the themes it brought up.
Big themes. Justice, sacrifice, making impossible choices in a world filled with corruption. The sources point out how God Valley just crystallizes all of that, themes central to the entire series.
So, wrapping up, what's the big takeaway here? By finally showing the God Valley incident, episode 1130 obviously gave fans something powerful that, according to these sources, resonated really deeply.
For sure, it wasn't just, here's an old fight scene. It genuinely unveiled this critical missing piece of history. We got to see legends when they were younger, finding their way.
And it sparked huge, meaningful conversations online.
Exactly. This deep dive into your sources, it really shows how this one episode massively enriched the lore and provided so much context for everything else happening in the story.
Yeah, and if you connect this to the bigger picture, understanding where that brutality, especially from the celestial dragons, came from at God Valley, and the tough calls Garp and Roger made.
It's essential, isn't it, for understanding their characters now and just the messy state of the One Piece world today.
Definitely. So this leaves us, and you the listener, with a question to chew on, I think, as you keep exploring the series.
Yeah.
How might the ripples, the lingering impacts of what the celestial dragons did back then and everything that went down at God Valley, how might that still be shaping events happening right now in the present-day storyline?